Welcome back to another episode of the Acastus Knight Asterius build. I'm Bry the Builder, and in this one, we are going to be finishing magnetizing the carapace and I guess mortar interior housing. And that'll make it so that later on I can still get to any electronics if it's necessary. So, once that's in there, I'll have 3 little magnets for that. And then 2 big magnets here, 1 small one here to hold the carapace. So I did actually put some epoxy sculpt in order to give me a spot to drill out, and kind of pushed it on and made a kind of an indentation of where the hole is there. And then when I drilled out a couple of these spots, I had just a little bit of breakthrough. So once I put a little bit of epoxy sculpt in there with the magnet, that'll easily sculpt up from the outside and clean up. So now I have, let's see, that one needs a couple holes drilled there. And then here I need to drill at the bottom there and in 2 spots here to match up to the 3 points in here. So I'm going to use my little hand drill first, and then move on to the full-size bit in a power drill. And then basically we'll be gluing and placing magnets. So, all right, let's get to it. This one I need to be a bit more careful, because this one's going to want to kind of pull all the way through. for the 5/16, because that is a big magnet there. Well, not big, but bigger anyway. Should give me plenty of room to get those in. All right, clean up one more time. So these are 3/16 by 1/16, right? They're N42s, so they're not super strong. The slightly larger magnets that I have for the carapace are stronger. These are 5/16 by 1/32 N52s. So they are pretty strong. So let's take a pair of these. Alright, so I went ahead and dug that magnet out and mixed up some epoxy sculpt so I can just go ahead and set pairs of magnets without worrying about whether or not they fit exactly right, because the hole's the right size. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack in a little bit of epoxy sculpt here. That will be too much. Just kind of give it a little bit of room. Where'd you go? And as I push the magnet in now, it should push any epoxy sculpt that's necessary out of the way. I want to make sure I get it in nice and level. little bit more of the epoxy sculpt out. I think it's just a tiny too much in there still. Pretty close to flush, but it's not quite flush. The rest of my magnets are sticking. All right, so we're going to take that back out of there one more time. Hopefully, just one more. I thought with the water in there, this would push out a little more easily. It's a little too tight for that, I guess. This one's open, so I don't have to worry too much about the magnet pushing that through. I have to reinforce it from the back a little. That one, since the hole went all the way through, we're just gonna get that nice and flush, and then we'll come back and pack a little bit more around it. Alright, nice slurry. Hopefully makes the magnet able to push that out of there pretty easily. Pretty nice. All right. are a bit thinner, so I'm going to add a bit more in there. So I'm just keeping the pairs together to start with here, so they don't get mixed up. All right, so this needs to set up for a bit before I try to pull the pairs apart and mount them in here. So I'm going to let this baby sit for a while. Hopefully I don't waste this whole chunk of epoxy sculpt here, but if I do, it starts getting hard, I'll just end up basically pushing it into the seams, mixing up a new batch for the other parts of the other magnet halves. So for now, we are going to call this one good. So I'll finish up the rest of the magnets off camera, but then on the next one, I'm going to go ahead and actually prime this guy so that I can paint him and actually get all my LEDs installed. So the next one, after I finish the magnets, and I will do that off camera. So the next video is going to be me painting the cockpit interior. So hopefully that'll actually be a really cool video and should be really fun to do. All right, so we'll see you guys in the next one.